This is a minivan that many are going all gaga over it. Not only parents with 9 kids. Why? Because it has 11 seats, it is made in South Korea, it looks like a ringgit car but costs less than 200,000 ringgit. That sounds like a Carnival. The first generation Kia Carnival was introduced globally in 1998 with over 2 million units sold.
Minivan.
It entered our Malaysian market as the Nazaria, the massive but friendly-looking people mover. The second generation Carnival did not make it here, thankfully, because it is just hideous. The third generation arrived just 4 years ago and it was very well received due to its size and good looks. And then there is this fourth generation minivan from South Korea. Well, actually Kia calls it not an MPV, but a GUV, Grand Utility Vehicle. Looking at the size of it, it is indeed grand and it has got design cues of an SUV. All this for less than 200,000 ringgit? What other options do you have in the market that can carry 11 people? There is the Maxus G10 and the Hyundai Starex that's on the older platform. There is also the Mercedes-Benz Vito that sits 10 packs, but that costs a lot more. Kia Malaysia also offers locally assembled 7-seater and 8-seater variants that are priced between 231,000 ringgit to 261,000 ringgit. Now, why is this fully imported 11-seater cheaper? Well, it is because vehicles with 10 or more seats are categorized as commercial vehicles, so you do get to enjoy certain tax exemptions. Well, yeah, mainly that and also because the CKD units are better equipped. So now, the question is this a better buy? We'll see. Ever since Kia's design department was led by former Audi and BMW designers, things are looking really good. From the sporty Stinger to the electric EV6, and now this, the people carrier Carnival. It doesn't look as upright and boxy as most MPVs. Dimension-wise, it is over 5.1 meters long and 2 meters wide. That's a lot bigger than a Toyota Alphard. The Carnival is longer by 209mm with 90mm extra for wheelbase and wider by 145mm, but shorter by 120mm, slightly below 6 feet. So it looks more proportionate and more hunkered down to the road, even though it has a higher ground clearance. It is the first model in Malaysia to carry Kia's new logo, which I quite like because it looks young and progressive. Now, the face. Kia calls this the new tiger face, and this is the tiger nose with chrome bits all over. The high beam headlights are integrated into the grille while the low beams are on the sides. These are full projector LEDs, by the way, that's why they're so small. The DRLs flows nicely into the frame of the grille, which also works as signal indicator. To achieve the SUV look, it has got a long hood, short front overhang, and this scuff plate looking panel at the front to give a tinge of ruggedness. The rims are 18-inch in size with 235/60 tyres. The all-new Kia Carnival has a very imposing presence, like a large American SUV. If we were to raise the ride height a bit, it looks almost identical as the Cadillac Escalade, especially with this slanting C-pillar. But of course, it looks better here with this diamond pattern, textured even, on this chrome fin. And if you were to follow this strip here, it goes around the back across the tailgate. To add on to the SUV look, it has got a pair of roof rails as well. Actually, if you were to get a black unit, you black out the windows, you black out the wheels, whew, it actually looked quite badass. The taillight panel runs across the tailgate, but too bad it doesn't illuminate entirely, only the sides. And these are LED combinations with bulbs. Where's the signal indicator? It is all the way down there, which I think is a bit too low. It has got a scuff plate looking panel at the bottom to complete the GUV look. The interior actually looks as good as the outside. It makes the previous generation model looks a bit ancient with this new modern design. You are greeted by this chrome panel that is textured, by the way, with these little diamond patterns just like the C-pillar. As for the upholstery combination, you can only choose this, which is saddle brown and black, which is a bit sad because I would prefer it to be in black. But I have to say the brown sort of brightens up the interior, makes it airier and bigger. Speaking of bigger, check out the width of this center console. The distance between me and my passenger is huge. The cabin is actually spacious. To maintain that spaciousness, the dashboard design is meant to reduce that visual bulkiness by layering it. You get this black gloss wraparound from the side of the door, across the front, all the way to the other door, and then a layer of dashboard studs and another layer of this metal panel. The steering has a new design with all the important buttons on it, and most importantly, it comes with pedal shifters. For the minivan, eh? That's nice. The meteor cluster is housed together with the center display in this floating panel, which is very familiar nowadays. So it is an analog dial with a digital screen in the middle. The locally assembled units come with digital screens, but if I can save that much, I don't mind living with this because it looks as good. The center display is huge. It's 12.3 inch. It comes with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It has got surround view monitor. The quality of the visuals from the camera is acceptable, borderline horror movie, but it's okay. Interface looks fine, but there's nothing much to play with. But I have to say, I'm really impressed by how it looks once the Apple CarPlay is on. But sadly, it is not wireless. You still have to plug in the USB for your Apple CarPlay. Now, moving along, this area here is touch sensitive for the audio controls and climate control. You get to also control the rear climate here. And this is where you connect your USB for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You get 2 more USB charging ports. Wireless charging for your phone. Hey, that's a nice one. 2 cup holders with a slot for your phone. Now, this is refreshing. A rotary dial for your gear shifter. You usually see it in luxury cars like a Jaguar, but recently in a Aura Pussycat as well. And you get to choose your drive mode from here between normal, eco, sport and smart. Further down, you get parking sensor button, the camera button where you can access the camera visuals quickly from here. You get this huge center armrest, and in here, a huge storage compartment. As for the audio system, you get a standard 6-speaker in here, but for the top spec CKD units, you do get Bose audio system. Oh, hello there, welcome. There are actually 4 rows in this car with a 2-3-3-3 formation, and there are plenty of seats configurations for you to play with. As you can tell, I'm in the best seat, the second row, and it can actually fit 3 people. I have to say the seats are a bit firm to my liking, but it does fit me very well. As you can tell, it is really spacious back here, but if you do have passengers behind you, you can still slide the seat forward and still have plenty of knee room. I get 2 pockets in front of me, but too bad there is no airplane style table in front of me for me to have lunch or do my work. I get 2 USB ports here. In fact, there are 7 USB ports in total in the entire car. You do get a Boss seat control for the front passenger seat for you to move it back and forth. There's a Taillight hook in front. There are 2 cup holders here, which is nice. There are no air vents here, but instead you get a 12-volt socket. The air vents are actually up here, which is only on the left and right. There's a little compartment down here for you to put your stuff, for example, batteries or phones when you're charging it. You get a switch on both sides for your sliding doors to open and close it. A huge, oh my god, handle here and here. Oh, by the way, the climate control settings for the rear is actually on this side, which is kind of weird, but it works. One more thing, you do get this. Sunscreen for your windows, which is nice. The seat in the center can actually do this. Wow, so you get your personal space here for your iPad and stuff, more cup holders, slots for your phone, but it doesn't really work as an armrest. To get an armrest, you can do this. So this person here can be the boss to control the seats in front and also get an armrest. Now, for you to relax back here, if you don't have a passenger behind you, slide all the way to the back, put the seats down. This is actually quite nice. So how do you get into the 3rd row seats? As usual, just slide the 2nd row seats forward and just climb in. But what if you have 2 child seats in the 2nd row? You can't just do that. And if you are in a 7-seater SUV like a XC90 or Santa Fe or CX-8, it would be almost impossible for you to get into the 3rd row seats with 2 child seats in front. Now, here comes the beauty of an MPV. Step in and fold this seat up and you get an aisle to walk in. Yeah. Which then I immediately realized that the seats back here are a lot smaller than the ones in front because of how the car is structured. The cabin sort of tapers in, so the seats get smaller because of the wheel arch and how the car is structured. So the seats at the back will be smaller later. Now what do I get back here? I do get cup holders, which works sort of like an armrest for me to sink my elbow in. There is a USB port to charge my phone. I do get my own little air vent up here, only on both sides. Another charging port there with all the cup holders and all that. And if I need more storage, if there is no passenger in front of me, I can do that for more cup holders and storage space. And if you're looking at my knee room, it does look a bit tight, but I can still do this. That's if you don't have 3 more passengers behind you lah, right? So you can still slide your seats back and forth like that. There's a lot of room to play actually, which is not bad. Can I still recline? I can! Before we get to the 4th row seats, let's check out the boot space. As you can see right about now, there's a huge opening to a huge luggage area, and you can still travel with 7 other passengers. Now where's the 4th row seat, you ask? Just like magic, it pops up just like that. And now 3 other passengers can come along, which also means you need to throw away all your luggage bags because there's practically no more space. To the 4th row seats. The only way to get into the 4th row seat is through the aisle that I've just created just now, and I need to create another one by doing that. And I arrived at my 4th row seat. With the seats in front of me adjusted to my seating position, I don't get a lot of knee room here, and as you can tell as well, the squatting effect here is actually quite strong. The seats are very upright, not very comfortable, and my head is very near the rear windscreen, so I can imagine the heat from the sun will be terrible if you don't tint it properly. There are not a lot of things for me to play with here. There's a small window opening with a little cute sunscreen, a 12-volt socket at the back, some storage space. I don't even get my air vent. I need to share. And if I were to describe this car as an airplane, the 1st row will be the cockpit, the 2nd row will be the business class, 3rd row will be the economy class, while the 4th row is the cattle class. And to the things I don't like about this car. Because of the commercial vehicle regulation, the side mirrors has to be big. It is so big, it becomes obstructive every time I try to get out of a junction. And then again, I get to see a lot of things behind me lah. Unlike the previous generation where you can remove the center seat to create a pair of captain seats, here you can't do that, so it has to stay. Because of the high ground clearance of this GUV at 172mm, stepping into it can be quite difficult if you have arthritis. Feels like I just climbed Mount Everest. As you will probably realize by now, the center seat for the 2nd row and 3rd row, they don't come with a headrest. Yeah, as if whiplash is not a thing in commercial vehicles. The driver side here gets an oh my god handle, which is nice, while the passenger side, nothing. Now to the things I like. It comes with a smart sliding door and tailgate function. When you walk near it with the key in the pocket, it will open it up just for you. That's for your hands-free convenience. It will even close it for you. You can start the car remotely using the key fob to cool it down in advance before your passengers get in. Timing just right. If you're traveling with your 9 other children and you happen to forget one of them because he or she could be sleeping, the car will then sound the alarm to alert you to tell you, hey, you've forgotten one of your kids. That's the rear occupant alert feature, which can be a lifesaver. I figured out an additional seat configuration which I shall name Tonight You Sleep Outside Mode. Married man, take note, because you and I know things like this happen from time to time. So sad, so sad. It's a sad, sad situation. Sorry seems to be how. In other parts of the world, the flagship variant of the Carnival is a 3.5-litre V6 direct injection engine that makes 294 horsepower and 355 Nm of torque. If you have that engine here, it will be so smooth. But just like the previous generation, as a people mover, diesel would be the best fit. You save on fuel and a bit on road tax too. So just like before, Kia Malaysia only offers the diesel variant, which is a 2.2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine together with a new 8-speed automatic gearbox. It sends all 199 horsepower and 440 Nm of torque only to the front wheels. This new Smart Stream diesel engine uses aluminium block instead of iron, so it saves up to 20 kilograms. And Kia said it is the cleanest diesel engine they have ever made. When it comes to safety, this CBU 11-seater variant loses out to the CKD ones that comes with advanced driver assistance system, such as autonomous emergency braking with cross-traffic detection, adaptive cruise control with stop and go functionality, lane centering and lane keeping assist, blind spot and rear cross-traffic avoidance, as well as automatic high beam. Instead, in here you only get the blind spot collision warning and rear cross collision avoidance assist. That's for the advanced safety system. That's on top of all the 7 airbags, the brake assist, traction control, multi-collision brake control, hill start assist and all that. So does it drive like a minibus? Actually, don't be fooled by its looks, because when you drive it, it doesn't feel as big. Mainly because of the light and responsive steering wheel, it makes maneuvering it very easy. Same goes to the throttle response. It doesn't feel lazy or lethargic. It's actually very light on its feet, which is very surprising. Topped with the torquey output from the diesel engine, you have here a powerful and responsive people mover. It is quick to pick up speed, which is great for when you are overtaking and going uphill. It could be a different story when it's fully loaded, but I do reckon for it to go up to Genting with 11 people in a car shouldn't be an issue at all. The ride, however, is a bit on the firm side. It is comfortable, don't get me wrong, but when you go through bumps and potholes, it doesn't feel as plush. But with that, it means that it doesn't feel that bolty when you're going at speed and around corners. It's actually very stable when you're driving at high speed. And I guess it gets better when you have more passengers in the car to get it even more planted on the road. The noise in the cabin when you take it up to speed though is actually quite apparent. You hear wind noise, especially from the huge side mirrors, and also road noise. It is much better when it's just cruising at slower speed, relaxing even. When you're driving slow and around town, that's when you need to be careful of its size. Because of the way it drives, you need to constantly remind yourself that you're actually maneuvering a 2 meter by 5 meter and almost 6 feet tall metal box. Here comes the big but. You can't help but hear the clattering from the diesel engine. It could be a very personal thing. I mean, I'm not a big fan of diesel engine. I cannot stand the sound, the vibration, and the smell from the fume. I do understand why diesel engine will be the right choice for such a car, because it can deliver enough torque to move massive load in the vehicle and yet still return very good range per tank. I have to admit though, there's barely any nasty smell from the exhaust. I guess thanks to the Euro 5 diesel and also the new Smart Stream engine. And also, there's minimal vibration in the cabin that suggests that it's powered by a diesel engine. But you hear it. You definitely hear it. More so when you're outside. It won't be a very nice scene if you're being picked up in front of a luxury hotel, you know, you in your business suit, while this car coming over. So back to our earlier question, is this a better buy as compared to the CKD 7 or 8-seater? But before that, if you have been watching till now hoping to hear that this is actually better than the Alphard, the answer is no. Driving an Alphard or a Velfire feels like you're sitting on a couch in a living room. It's a very relaxing and unique driving experience. And the second row is a sweet spot to be in. While in here, the sitting position is more like an SUV rather than an MPV. And the seats are not exactly plush. And the way it rides also not exactly smooth. So let's just leave it as it is. This 11-seater Kia Carnival is in a very unique position. It is a lot of car for the money. It is made from the motherland, South Korea. But it loses out in terms of offerings in features as compared to the CKD units assembled in Kulim, Kedah. But those are nice things to have, which are mostly only available in the top spec. Think of it as luxury items that cost an additional up to 65,000 ringgit. Without them, this works just fine, like how it's intended to be, which is a people mover. In fact, this can even do a better job at it because you can fit at least 3 more passengers. And you get to save the money. So, is this car for you? Well, if you need to ferry people from time to time and you're looking for something solid, handsome, premium looking with huge presence, and yet a bang for buck people mover, then yes, this fully imported 11-seater Kia Carnival is the car for you. But if you want more in terms of features and equipments, and you have high expectations when it comes to luxuriousness and plushness, then probably not. If you want to find out more about this all-new Kia Carnival, do log on to AutoBuzz.my. If you like this video, do give us a thumbs up, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the logo or the subscribe button below. Remember to turn on the notification bell to receive updates whenever we upload a new video like this.